As the two stepped out of the apartment, Nick, seated in the driver's seat, felt something stir in his heart. He also loved this woman. The way she looked, her heart, her behaviors, her smile, her perfect body. She was supposed to be his. He thought to himself, why is James playing with her? He knows well that he has a fiancée, a girl that the family loves and admires. He knows that the Hawkins would never accept a girl without a powerful family. He will only break her heart. Why can't he let me have her? He knows that I also love her. I would treat her better than he could, and I would protect her better than he could. My family would love and cherish her, but his family will only hurt her. He kept comparing himself to James, wondering who between them would keep Olga happy. He kept murmuring, why did he ask me to drive them? He just wanted me to give up. By that time, James had opened the car door and helped Olga inside. Nick saw Olga's look, and he had this feeling that Olga would be his. James passed to the other side and took a seat beside Olga. The car drove off, and the two girls looked out the window. I hope I get a rich admirer too, Maggie complained. Now that I am going to be a star, I will date a rich and handsome man. And don't worry, Raula, you're going to change. We will have a great life together. Inside the car, James couldn't help but admire the beauty beside him. Olga, you really look great. And thank you for accepting my request. Oh, it's really nothing, Olga replied shyly, unsure where to look. As they made their way to the restaurant, Olga couldn't help but notice how effortlessly they fell into conversation, their laughter filling the air. A few minutes later, the car parked in front of an expensive restaurant. James came out of the car first to open the door for Olga. Olga couldn't believe that the CEO of the Hawkins Corporation was treating her like that. With a lot of respect and care, James opened the door for Olga and offered her a hand. They both entered the restaurant, which was decorated for a romantic night. The whole restaurant was booked, and they were the only ones inside. Like a gentleman, he pulled out a chair for her to sit in, then took his own seat. A waiter assigned for their night approached me with professionalism. Good evening, Mr. Hawkins. It's a pleasure to have you here. Your girlfriend is so beautiful. You two look great together. My name is Isaac. I will be your waiter tonight. He handed them the menu for their drinks. After a few minutes, he returned. What should I bring you for a drink? James looked at Olga and smiled. Ladies first. Sweet red wine, please. How about you, sir? A Blue Lagoon cocktail, James said, looking at her. Well, it's my favorite drink. Whenever I am not in a business meeting, I like to be myself, eating and drinking whatever I want, whether it's cheap or costly. I also want you to be yourself. Feel free, and don't see me as your boss, but as a friend you can trust. Thank you, Mr. Hawkins. Before she could finish, James cut her off. Call me James, please. I told you not to consider me your boss. You can only call me that when we're at work, but here we're friends. Please call me James. Yes, sir. I mean, James. They all smiled. The waiter brought the drinks, serving Olga first, then James. After he was done, he respectfully asked for their meal preferences, from the starters to the desserts. Olga looked at the menu, but she didn't recognize any dishes. Not wanting to embarrass James, she couldn't keep asking the waiter to explain every dish. James, would it be okay if you ordered for me? I'll take whatever you order, but I am a fan of mushroom soup. I don't know if this restaurant has it. They might only offer expensive dishes. James understood her perfectly and wanted to ensure she had the best date experience. Isaac, tell your chef to make her mushroom soup. I don't care whether or not you have all the ingredients. And for the main course, we'll have the most expensive steak, medium rare. For me, the steak will be fully cooked, and about the soup, make it spicy, Olga added. The waiter repeated the order to confirm, then thanked them and went off. After the waiter left, James continued their conversation as they waited for their meal. So, Olga, since this is our first date, we should get to know each other. I want you to ask me any question that you want, and I'll do the same. Olga smiled, thought for a moment, but couldn't come up with a question. Well, I have never been on a date before, and have never had a boyfriend. I really don't know what to ask you. And Maggie didn't brief me on that. James smiled happily. I guess I am the luckiest man on the whole planet to date you first. Okay then, I will ask first. Do you have parents? Siblings? Olga looked a little sad. No, I am an orphan. I was raised by my grandmother. No parents, no siblings. Technically, I have one sibling, Maggie. Maggie is your sister? James asked, surprised. My grandmother raised us together, even though we are not blood sisters. It's a long story. Life was hard, and we had to study hard to survive this merciless world. I am so sorry to hear that. You have gone through a lot. The only thing I can say now is sorry, and always know that I am here for you. And I wish maybe we can become close enough for you to open up to me and tell me that dark story of your life. So you mean that you have been friends with Maggie since childhood? Yeah, we lived together at my grandmother's house and we have never been separated. How did you manage your school and your personal needs? I mean, the rent, bills, and everything. Well, we were on a scholarship. There was some money that we were given monthly, and after school Maggie had to go sing karaoke to earn money, and I would go tutor those rich kids with low grades. We had few, but enough to make us happy. Wow, I must admit, I am so impressed. You're the hardest working and most independent girl I have ever met. Olga wanted to ask one question that had been lingering in her mind. I think it's my turn to ask questions. James looked her in the eyes and responded, Okay, I am ready to answer. I have been wondering why your company gave me an internship opportunity when I hadn't applied for it. The first time I came to work, the manager saw me, and the first thing he said was, Now I get why you are hired. He didn't say much, but it's still playing in my head as if it were said yesterday. Well, the idea was from my dad, but even if he hadn't done that, I would have hired you myself. Look, it was not about your beauty. We were at the graduation ceremony, and we saw you speaking. Who in the world wouldn't love to hire such talent? His words touched Olga. Thank you, James. That action of employing me clearly gave my life a clear direction. Throughout the evening, James proved to be the perfect gentleman, attentive and considerate. They kept chatting, with James asking her about her interests, dreams, and aspirations, genuinely interested in getting to know her beyond the confines of the office. As Olga opened up to him, sharing pieces of herself she had never shared with anyone before, she felt a deep connection forming between them. The evening passed in a blur of laughter and conversation, as Olga and James enjoyed a delicious meal. James observed how she finished everything on her plate and smiled. You like mushroom soup that much? I do. It's delicious. But Maggie killed it that this chef, they burst into loud laughter. With each passing moment, Olga felt herself relaxing in James's company, his easy charm putting her at ease. When they were done with their meal, James spoke first. How was your meal, Olga? Did you enjoy it? Yeah, I did. The steak was superb. I have never eaten something so expensive as that. Now, I get why you rich people pay thousands of dollars over a meal. The experience is different, and I am glad I had my favorite. Olga, thank you again for accepting my invitation. This means heaven to me. I hope you won't mind if I ask you for a favor. Olga felt something like fear in her heart. What could it be, sir? I mean, James. James noticed her discomfort and assured her, It's simple, Olga. You don't have to be afraid. May I have a hug? Only a hug. James wanted to do something that would make her think of him. Of course, he didn't want to miss the opportunity. Oh, that. Of course, she said, standing up.